এটা ইন্ডিয়ান একটা ভারতীয় ফিল্মের খুব সম্ভবত এটা গান লুঙ্গি ডান্স, খুব সম্ভবত, আমি নিশ্চিত নয় কারণ আমি গানটা শুনেছি কিন্তু কখনো দেখার সুযোগ হয়নি বা দেখিনি।
গতকাল রাতে ধানমন্ডি 32-এর আশেপাশে শোনেননি?
গতকাল এই বিষয়টি এসেছে, মানে শুনেছি। দেখুন, বঙ্গবন্ধু একটি মীমাংসিত সত্য এবং মীমাংসিত বিষয়
না, আমি প্রশ্নটা ছিল শুনেছেন।
One question, one answer, lost the election. Let's hear about this fascinating story took place in 1988. US presidential election. Candidate Democrat Michael Dukakis, Republican George W. Bush Sr. Now they're about to enter in a political debate which is very much practice in the US in their democracy to have this political debate to present their memo, and of course there will be a question from the anchor. Now the anchor was Bernard Shaw, CNN. He was in his studio writing something, some notes, what questions he will be placed to both the candidate to support their agendas, memo, their narrative for Americans. He wrote one question, by the way, specifically for Michael Dukakis. Now, at that time, Michael Dukakis was a governor of Massachusetts, and obviously president nominee for Democrat Party. And he was promoting the revoke of death penalty for the state of Massachusetts, and obviously subsequently he would like to promote the revoke of death penalty from all the states of the United States. That was his prime election memo, election agenda in 1988. Now they both enter into the room, and of course Bernard Shaw is ready with his question. Here comes the question. If Katie Dukakis was a wife of Michael Dukakis, were raped and murdered, would you prefer an irrevocable death penalty? You got 2 minutes. Well, friends, this question is not only personal, it's provocative, and it crossed all invisible line. You wonder what Michael answered. Michael answered, I will not revoke it. I will revoke it. Sorry. I will revoke it. I will still revoke it if this is the case. As a politician, he stood by his narrative. Oh, of course, it's a good thing. Whatever I believe I stood by, regardless, it inflicted heavily on me in all regards. My point is, the whole psychological aspect, comprehensive emotional and mental capacity answering this question was missing. And of course, in 1988, a landslide victory for George W. Bush. And in a journalism fraternity, they believe that the single question killed Dukakis. Otherwise, he obviously had a very good chance. That's why he, from the governor of Massachusetts, is nominated for to run the presidential campaign as a candidate, as a nominee. Now, why I'm narrating that story to you? One reason: the journalism, the future of journalism in Bangladesh, especially the fraternity of political journalism. So those journalists who are in that particular fraternity will be asking questions to the future leaders of the country. Note, you need to be ferocious, you need to be forceful, so that you can test the participants' psychological capacity comprehensively. Of course, the questions needs to have its own merit. Just for your reference, ancient Rome This is the birth of the liberal democracy, the practice of it, narrative versus counter-narrative. The statesman and lawyer named Marcus Tullius Cicero was known for his notorious invective rain down on the opposition, which tested the opposition narrative comprehensively in psychological term, emotionally and mental capacity, so that we can understand the true narrative, the core of it, and the people can understand of it. Now, why all this discussion? Recently in Jamuna TV, we have seen the anchor was quite aggressive towards one of the coordinator of anti-discriminatory student wing movement. And of course, she was very aggressive because the fact in front of the Sheikh Mujib's house on 15th of August, some group of people in a loud song and dancing with a Hindi song. Well, we all know that was not right. So the anchor did not hold herself back to be very softly imposing that question to Hasnath, a participant as a coordinator. So he did a great job in Liberation 2.0. However, moving forward, now he's politically involved. Maybe in future he'll be coming up with his own political party, just to be mindful of the fact, if the wrong is wrong and the right is right, we have to display it that way to the great mass, to the great populace. We had enough with this soft journalism, and there is no place anywhere in the world when it comes to the politics. They're very harsh, they're very tough when they ask you these questions. Now, why the anchor was very tough? Because the anti-discriminatory wing was doing their own movement on that day to the whole night, because they fear that they have a anti-revelation situation can arise from house number 32. So they have their program. Now, when they're having their program, how is it that possible that they are singing and dancing in front of the house on 15th of August? And as we know, in 15th of August, this is a mourning day, and of course, what happened, that belligerent brutality, nobody supported that. So we have to, as a human, we have to put our respect to it. Now, why she was again so furious? Because according to Marxism, you got two narratives. One is ideological hegemony, which is a narrative from the ruling party. And the one is the class struggle, which is a marginalized class. Now, the question is, now all of a sudden, Hasnath find himself sided with the ruling party, because now you are in control. To some extent, you are with the ruling party. And obviously we have the marginalized segment nowadays, which is Awami League. In a liberal democracy, everybody has got freedom to express themselves. Now, if we are about to destroy that freedom, then we are again going in the same line of fascism. So we need to take care of the marginalized people and their narrative, so that everybody, we can ensure everybody in Bangladesh have the liberty of freedom of speech and expressions. However, having said so, those who are guilty should be charged and should be brought to the justice according to the judicial system, impartial judicial system. Thank you.